Throw the slack, you fucking moron!
Hello and welcome to ScreenShare. My name is Calder.
And I'm Adam.
And this week we're doing Kimi, which is my pick, which is why I started talking first.
That's true. That's usually how we do it.
How are you doing?
How am I doing?
Is your skin dry like mine?
No, my skin's not dry, but...
And we'll move on. Kimi.
I was going to say it's wet, but that's not true at all.
Yeah, it looks like it could
I got
be.
clammy toes.
Always wearing thick wool socks.
It's true.
Even in the height of summer, in the dog days.
Yeah. Legitimately, though, actually, I've been ridiculed for wearing tall socks with shorts.
You're a freak.
In the summertime.
That's rude, but you are sometimes.
What, am I a freak?
Yeah.
Well, you're a geek.
Actually,
Actually, if one of us is a freak and one of us is a geek, you're the freak, I'm the geek for sure.
Jesus Christ. Well, I don't know how to...
Well, okay, we barely said the title of the movie. This episode we watched Kimi.
Yes.
Starring Zoë Kravitz. Bit of a Zoë Kravitz month for you. You chose 2 Zoë Kravitz movies.
And they came out relatively around the same time.
Yeah.
I think Batman came out like middle of March.
Yeah.
One thing I didn't mention about that is it went to digital very quickly.
Oh, yeah.
Like
It was
by
like
the beginning of April.
Yeah.
Kimi came out in the middle of February 10th.
Did it have a theatrical release?
No, it was straight to streaming.
Okay.
Now the reason I picked this movie and why I kind of like enjoyed it and was interested in it initially is because it's a Steven Soderbergh movie.
Okay.
Did Ocean's 11, 12, 13.
Classics.
Aaron Brockovich. Other.
You
want me to keep going?
The
Sex,
Other Guys.
Lies, and Videotape.
The Other Guys.
He didn't do that one.
No, I don't. No, he did not.
High Flying Bird. And it also came out in a bit of a dead period, so I was like,
Yeah.
really getting myself excited for almost anything that came out.
Yeah.
And then I
think
watched
the concept is cool.
Yeah, it's a cool, interesting concept, and I watched it and I liked it. I thought it was good.
So the movie is about it's basically about an AI, a la a Google Home or an Alexa.
Sure.
And it's named Kimi. Just looking at the title, I assumed that Zoë Kravitz was Kimi, but no, she's Angela Childs.
Yeah.
But Kimi is a Google Home Alexa type home service thing, but the difference is it works by anytime there's a mistake or a break in.
There's humans fixing the mistakes and reprogramming it.
Yeah. So Angela works as someone who goes through problem logs and corrects the code.
So if someone says like, find me the nearest washroom, and might not understand washroom is like bathroom or something, so then she has to program in washroom equals bathroom.
Yeah. Which while I was watching, I was like, this seems like a good system.
I'm pretty sure they did that for some of them.
Yeah.
Which is kind of creepy.
I guess they're all a bit invasive, but...
Yeah, there's one invading me right now.
I'm being invaded by a Google Home.
And it was like, I'm going to move off of your...
I was just trying to explain the basis. Oh, yeah. And then she hears something bad over one of them, and then she tries to...
She hears a murder, a crime.
She hears a crime and tries to deal with it, but...
She's also agoraphobic, so
Yes.
she doesn't want to leave her apartment. And it's the height of COVID.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff going wrong. But we'll get into a bit of the writing process.
Is it the height of COVID in the movie? Because it seems like it's a little bit like near the tail end. Because she mentions to her therapist that like COVID like slowed down her like process of getting back into it. And it does. Not everyone was wearing masks in the. She was a mask wearer.
I guess it's probably like not the height, but it's like still during COVID.
My guess is it's like late 2021 type.
Sure.
Type era.
Okay.
Anyway, I just want to add that.
I don't know. Just the people are wearing masks.
Yeah.
So it came out before Batman, before the 355. You know that one. You remember that one. the Jason Bourne world, Jessica Chastain, Lupita Nyong'o. I think Penelope Cruz
Wait,
is
that
in
was
that as
in
well.
the Bourne world?
Yeah, that's a Bourne movie.
What?
Yeah.
I had no idea about that.
There were some other Oscars type movies. Death of the Nile.
Yeah.
You like that one? Marry Me. They all kind of... Oh, Death of the Nile and Marry Me came out the same week. But, like, no one's really going to see Marry Me in theaters.
No.
Death of the Nile. I think it was, like, successful, but it fucking sucks.
Fucking sucks.
And this was just, like, dropped on Crave here in Canada, HBO Max in America.
Yeah.
And it was pretty good.
Yeah,
I
liked it.
It's, like, better than Marry Me and Death on the Nile, I'd say.
It was the kind of movie where, like, I could tell it was generally low budget. It has, like, 3 set pieces, basically.
Yeah.
But it just... I think it works.
There's a lot of
It works well.
tension.
Yeah.
And it's quick. It's like an hour and a half.
I hate in movies when there's a character just trying to do the right thing, especially when the right thing is just like getting help or letting people know something bad that happened. And they just like keep facing resistance or are getting stopped, or the people they're going to for help are actually in on it. I hate it because it's so stressful.
It's very annoying.
And it's like, I'm like, is she the only good person? Well, no, Kevin's a good person.
And the Romanian guy or whatever. Darius?
Darius. He's all right.
Hello, hotness.
I think he's kind of neutral.
He's fine.
He's fine.
And then she has a bit of a crush through her window, but that's weird.
Yeah.
So the movie, Steven Soderbergh directed it. He also did the cinematography and edited it, but used pseudonyms.
Oh, interesting.
So he's Peter and Andrews and Marianne Bernard. Also.
Okay. What's the point of using pseudonyms?
He just said he doesn't like having all of it like stacked together, where it's like directed by Steven Soderbergh, edited by Steven Soderbergh, cinematography by Steven Soderbergh. Like, he just thinks that's egotistical.
Okay, that's fair.
And the last 5 Steven Soderbergh movies are kind of interesting. This is kind of post Logan Lucky, where he's kind of just been making streaming movies. So he made High Flying Bird, which was shot on an iPhone, about a basketball prospect.
Okay.
And it's like during a lockout, and they're setting up a basketball tournament for like prospects to play in and stuff. The Laundromat, which is about money laundering. It's got Meryl Streep, and it's like a bit of an anthology movie.
All right.
Let Them All Talk, which also has Meryl Streep, where she's on a cruise ship with a bunch of other
Meryl Streep still working.
Golden Girls, and they're gabbing.
Yeah.
I hope she's still working.
I think she is.
No Sudden Move, which is kind of a noir-y thriller kind of thing.
Yeah.
Don Cheadle's in that one. John Hamm.
Love Don Cheadle.
I think David Harbour's in it too. And then this was his most recent movie.
Mm-hmm.
Unless I'm forgetting something. I don't think I'm forgetting something. And he's kind of just been experimenting with shooting movies,
just doing
in different ways, like low budget, different styles. And I kind of like the style of this one more, because once she gets out of the apartment, I like how all that's shot. It's sort of wide angle, kind of frantic. You see her like
it almost seems like it's sped up footage, but it's not.
Yeah.
It just feels very, I think frantic is the best word.
Yeah. It's shot really well.
And I like how because she doesn't want to leave her apartment, but she finally does.
Mm-hmm.
I like that she's like hugging the walls and taking super tight corners, keeping her head down, and the camera kind of follows that, where it's also, it feels like you're finally in the outside world, but you still don't really feel like it. It still feels very much like.
And I think Zoe Kravitz is just great in the movie.
Oh yeah, she's great.
The side characters are kind of more or less like,
Some are better than others,
Yeah, but Zoe Kravitz is really good in this movie.
Yeah, and I like how even though she's agoraphobic and a bit of a hermit and stays inside all day, it still makes her good with people. Mm-hmm. Like, she's still charismatic and likes talking to people and gets along with people pretty well.
Mm-hmm. But just like when she's kind of... When she can control
she's ready for it.
Or like...
Yeah. When it's on her terms. Because it does... I feel like the easy thing to do would be, oh, she's agoraphobic. She doesn't like people.
Yeah.
It's like, that's not really what that is. So like when she's on the phone with the hello hotness, what's that guy's name? Darius. When she's on the video call with Darius, she's like talking to him like
normal,
like completely normal. When she goes on a date, she's talking to him completely normal. Like when she's on the phone, or she's a normal social human. She just doesn't feel comfortable leaving her apartment.
Yeah,
like that's,
and I wouldn't either, because that's a nice apartment.
I was thinking that. It's a very
great
nice
apartment.
Yeah.
So it's written also by one of the most successful screenwriters like ever, David Koepp. He wrote like the first Mission Impossible, the first Spider-Man, Jurassic Park, what is this? War of the Worlds, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Yikes.
I rewatched it after watching this because I was interested to. I haven't seen it in like 10 years.
Yeah.
There's a good like 30 or 40 minutes in that movie at the start.
Yeah.
And then it goes downhill.
Yeah, I think the start's okay. It
but
gets bad.
His theory with writing movies, because I listened to a podcast with him, is he either picks the best person for the job or the worst person for the job. Like, that's the main character.
Oh,
so,
okay.
like, Ethan Hunt in Mission Impossible, he's the best person for
person.
the job. And in this one, she's, like, clearly the worst person for the job. Not that she's not capable, but, like...
Well, she clearly gets it done.
You don't want an agoraphobic person to be taking on this if you're, like...
Yeah.
If you're like, I'm going to pick the best person, it's not someone who's scared to go out of their apartment.
Which
She
like,
overcomes that, and that's, like, the best part of the movie.
If it's, like, a best person for the job type scenario, the excitement and enjoyment comes from seeing them do their job well.
Yeah.
Whereas when it's the, like, worst person, it's just an underdog story, really.
Yeah.
Like, the whole movie is basically her overcoming her fears a bit.
Yeah.
Which I think makes her a very relatable and likable character. So I'm not agoraphobic, but I related a lot to, I don't know, like how she feels about just going outside and going into the outside world. Because it's just like, you don't know what's out there. There's a bunch of people suck.
Sometimes.
And I don't know.
Other times they swallow. Let's go.
Oh, no.
I had to do some.
Yeah.
This movie cost $3.5 million.
That's not bad.
And this is a side note. The boss of Amygdala, which is the tech company.
Yeah.
His name is Derek Delgado, I think, something like that.
The actor is?
Delgado, yeah. And I recognized him the first time I watched it. I didn't know what he was from. He made this magic special called In and of Myself, which was very good. It was very interesting.
Okay.
I think it's on Crave too, but I'd recommend that to anyone who is interested in watching watching magic.
Yeah.
It's not like Chris Angel or like what's the other guy who sticks shit through his arms? David Blaine.
Yeah.
But it's very good.
Nice.
And it's like got a story and it's emotional. So in general, it seems like you kind of like the movie.
Yeah, I liked it a lot,
assessment?
actually. I felt very invested in what was going on. I liked a lot of the characters. Honestly, most of the movie is just watching Zoë Kravitz be good. Just like one small thing. I don't know if this was an acting decision or a directorial decision, but like I just love little things like when she was leaving or attempting to leave the first time, but then didn't end up leaving her apartment. How she like puts her bag on and then looks down and realizes she put it on backwards, so then she like adjusts it. It's like it adds like 3 seconds to the movie, but things like that just make things feel more real.
There's a lot of like great little details of interesting things that she does.
Yeah, like it reminded me. You and I watched Spirited Away together. Like a big thing in Studio Ghibli movies is like the in-between moments. Like there's a part in Spirited Away where it just shows them on the train going somewhere. They don't do anything. They're just sitting there. There's a scene where like she has to put on her shoes before going somewhere, but it like takes the time for her to put on her shoes. And those moments just like feel much more real. And this is one of the first times where in a live action movie I saw that and was like, and recognized it as that, where I'm like, yeah, the moment of getting ready just felt so much more real instead of like, I put on jacket, I put on hat, I put on mask, I put on bag, I leave. It was like, no, she's frantically trying to get out because like that's me.
Yeah.
You know, things like that feel more real, and I feel like there were a lot of moments like that.
Yeah. I think another like important thing is not like super important, but like thing that adds to her character is the sanitizer strategy she has, where she like gets the sanitizer, puts it on her hands, and then waves them.
I love that.
Yeah, it's very weird, but I like it as like a little character detail.
Yeah.
And I think another thing that I noticed the first time, but I wasn't sure if it actually happened, is I think throughout the movie her hair fades, the color of it.
I think so, a little bit.
Yeah.
So I wonder if, because if it does, I think I noticed that too. I didn't write it down because I just assumed I was misremembering. But you mentioning that, I think that's true.
Yeah.
And I think if it was intentional, my guess is that's to symbolize like,
because she has blue hair.
Yeah, she has blue hair, and I do think that it fades, and then in the end, like, scene she has it like a light pink or something like that. So I would see that as kind of like a metaphor of her breaking out of
like
her
who she
fears
was.
and like her insecurities and coming more into her own, I guess.
Yeah, like it's a transition.
Yeah.
Yeah, where like that sort of fades away, because that was probably a thing she did during COVID. That was kind of like an impulse thing she wanted to do. But then having that fade away kind of shows her moving out of that period.
Yeah. Because like,
there you go.
Seeing her at the beginning of the movie kind of like crumble whenever anything hard happens or there's any sort of resistance, she just doesn't really know what to do. And then like jump to the end and she's like all of a sudden like John Wick level like badass
people,
things where she's like talking to the Kimi and getting her to turn off the lights, start playing some music and shooting people in the head with a nail gun. Very cool. Like I was brutal. But like I don't see you're I was about to say, you're seeing a character like change over time. That's just what character development is.
Yeah, that's what most movies are, hopefully.
Yeah, but I just think it's very good in this movie, and it's very believable, and you feel like you're there. I honestly, he's dying. He's died. I'm dead. But like something that I did note is it feels weird when they show a scene between like the CEO talking to the hitman leader guy, because it feels weird when the movie jumps away from Kimmy's Angela's perspective.
Yeah. And I think those are like the weakest parts of the movie. Because I think the side characters are just like, they're fine, but that's it. They're just fine.
They're just
like, they get the job done. But it's really like a great show for her.
Yeah.
She's great in it. Zoë Kravitz.
She kills it.
Yeah. I've got some other notes here. There's a lot of fake typing in this movie, and you can clearly tell they're really just clanking on those keys. Not as good as I'd like it to be.
The fake typing? Yeah, I thought some of it was okay. I think when the focus is her editing, I think it's okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, whenever there's like the hacker guy, who is probably the most meaningless side character. He kind of just comes so they can track her and then disappears from the movie.
Kind of, yeah.
But like when he's doing stuff, it was like,
that was clear fake typing.
Yeah.
Because no one's just constantly clicking the keys. You got to pause sometimes.
Yeah. Wait 1 sec.
Wow, I can't believe you did that. I'm angry right now.
I'm sorry to anyone listening. I should have given more warning, but I had to work with what was coming. So
let's talk about some scenes that we liked.
Okay.
I'm worrying that this movie isn't long enough or has enough content for us to fill out an episode. You can cut that out.
It's fine. No, I do think that it has less to address than like the Batman.
Yeah.
But I think that there's enough there. It also doesn't have to be an hour-long episode. It could go 45 minutes if need be.
It could be 12 minutes.
Perhaps. I think we passed that point.
So a scene I like it when she meets with the lady at Amygdala.
Yeah.
Who's played by Rita Wilson.
I liked the scene. I hated it, though.
Yeah.
She's so, like, you need to trust me that I'm here to help you. I'm on your side.
Yeah.
When really, like, it's so clear.
Mm-hmm. What did you think about the hitmen?
Like the two guys?
Yeah.
I thought they were pretty.
Big
they
one
were
and
fine.
small one.
They were fine. I just felt like they were.
I feel like they were intimidating enough.
Yeah.
Because then it made like the sort of chase that happens around.
I do think that they're stupid.
Oh yeah, they're stupid
because they
for
tried to kidnap her at a protest.
Yeah.
Maybe one of the worst places to try and kidnap someone.
Very dumb.
Which I did really like that scene though, because I liked how everyone just immediately helped her.
Mm-hmm.
And then she just ran away, which I also get.
Yeah.
But like, I just liked that everyone immediately jumped into helping her. They're like, oh, I'm not paying attention to this protest anymore. I'm going to help this girl from being kidnapped.
But like that scene where she's getting kidnapped in the van, and then the scene where they do the umbrella prick.
Oh yeah.
Those are both scary to me. Those
Yeah.
are very scary scenes.
Yeah, the umbrella prick one like pissed me off. Where I was like, what's happening? And then she got pricked and I was like, I hate that.
Like that had happened to her?
Yeah.
Or,
like
okay.
that's unfair. That's like cruel and evil.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's scary.
Mm-hmm.
The idea that like that could even happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hated it. Because it does feel like basically the whole time, like the situation she's in should be reinforcing her agoraphobia.
Mm-hmm.
But she just keeps overcoming. Like she should be like broken at the end because she finally went outside and all of this horrible stuff happened to her. But she overcame it all in the end, so that gives her
I think that's why
confidence.
she's okay at the end.
Yeah.
I don't love that she like ends up with the guy across the alley. Like I don't really love that guy.
Yeah. I felt like
The
either
character.
she shouldn't end up with anybody and she should just be like,
Bad bitch.
sure. Or she should end up with Kevin.
Yeah.
Like Kevin is the guy who's like spying on her a little bit like throughout the movie here and there.
But he saves her
and
life.
then he shows up and saves her life, gets stabbed in the stomach.
And the other guy's
beat
just
up.
like, he's kind of a bit of a dick.
Yeah, he seems like he's a bit of a dick.
And you're just like why do we want him?
Yeah.
You know?
And one of my like only real gripes with the movie is that like it ends kind of abruptly.
With the freeze frame? I don't like the freeze frame.
Yeah. It like does the final action scene and then it kind of like fades away, shows like a news thing of the CEO getting arrested. And then
it's like a year later.
And then it's like a year later and it's just a single shot of her walking out of her apartment, meeting the guy for a hot dog. And then it does a freeze frame for like 20 straight seconds.
Yeah.
And then that's the end of the movie. And I was like, okay, I would have liked like a scene more.
Yeah.
It just felt
you need a little
abrupt.
more something there.
And I need some closure on Kevin. Is he okay? Is he all right?
Is he still creeping on her? What did you think of the CEO? Like, did you...
He seemed like he was a guy who was a bad guy, who made a big mistake by being a really, really bad guy.
Yeah.
And then he was just trying to get out of it. I have no opinion on him.
Yeah.
I do think that the hitman leader, not like the two guys, but the guy who's like in charge of them, sucks.
Like as an actor or as a character?
Yes.
Both?
Both.
He's in Jane the Virgin.
Okay.
And I'm not sure if he's great in that either.
It's some scenes he was fine. It was mostly the scene where Angela and Kevin are both sitting on the couch and he's like bleeding out and he's like telling him to get his hands away from his wound.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, he's not intimidating at all. He just seems like really desperate. He's like, where is the other file? I'm not going to tell you. I know you have it somewhere. I emailed it to a bunch of people. No. Like, it just feels like he's like desperately trying to fix things. It's like, this isn't intimidating.
No.
I feel like you need to be stoic. I don't know.
I think there's probably a way to do that, but it just wasn't it. And I was just kind of underwhelmed by that character because I feel like he should be scarier.
Yeah.
But he's just not.
Was that character's name Christian Holloway, or was that a different character?
I think Christian Holloway's the boyfriend.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, because I wrote Christian Holloway is a scug.
Yeah, he kind of is.
He's he feels like a bit of a dick. Like, I do kind of understand him getting frustrated when
she doesn't want to go out and stuff.
Yeah, when she's like very much. But like, then don't be with her then. Then go find someone else then, or put up with it. Like, it's, I don't know.
Don't keep coming over and having sex.
Yeah. Oh, I also wrote in my notes, Olivia has started watching with me about halfway through the movie, but she refuses to let me give her any context.
Nice.
I would literally be like, do you want to know context for this? And she'd be like, no. And I'd be like, can I please tell you? And she's like, no, I don't want you to. And I'd be like...
At what point did you start watching?
She started watching, I think...
Was she still in the house?
No. She started watching, I think, halfway through when she was talking to...
the lady?
The lady in the office.
That's a late.
Yeah. Because she, like... Literally all I wanted to say was, like, what Kimi was, that she was working for Kimi, that she heard a crime, she's agoraphobic. That's all I wanted to say. But she didn't want me to.
Hey, sometimes it do be like that.
She did hate the nail gun though. She just said it was gross.
It is a little gross, but it's so like silent.
I like that
too.
Yeah, that wasn't good. It was like a.
One thing though is, I don't know if you can have a nail gun that's not hooked up to a compressor. I'd have to look that up.
I'm sure there's like,
and I think that one was
compressors or something.
I think that one was supposed to be hooked up to a compressor.
Maybe,
but
I'll be honest.
That's a little bit of my renovation background.
Yeah, you've renoed before.
Yes, I have.
Yes, you have.
Another thing I'd like to talk about, and why this movie kind of is so frustrating, is because it really like plays into the trope of the hysterical woman, which is like a sort of movie and TV trope.
Okay.
Which is kind of like, you know how Gaslighting is based on that Gaslight movie or whatever?
Sure.
Where like she's hysterical, but the guy's like actually doing all this shit, but no one believes her because she's a woman.
Oh, just a thing where people don't believe a woman character because they just assume she's crazy or yeah.
This is basically the same thing as that.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so frustrating, because you're like, just fucking listen to her. Like,
yeah.
Even like her mom and her therapist and like all that, they just don't fucking listen to her.
Yeah.
It's so horrible.
Even
it's so
with
annoying.
stuff that's not directly related to the crime she heard.
Yeah.
Like, she... Just in general, people don't listen to what she's saying. Her, like, the guy she's seeing, Christian Holloway, he doesn't really listen to her when she's stating her boundaries.
Yeah.
Like, her mom doesn't listen to her when she's, like, explaining, I don't know, how she's doing.
The dentist
doesn't listen. Although, with that, I was like, dude, you gotta...
I kind of get it, but also it's like...
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a tricky situation, because you're like, she kind of can't really.
Yeah.
But also, like, she's gotta.
With the dentist one, I'm like, you've got an abscess tooth that's, like, ingrown and, like,
she should
swelling
just pull it out
up.
yourself, though.
What?
Pull it out yourself.
Yeah.
I've done that many times.
Yeah.
When I was around, like, 8 or 9.
What, just pulled out your teeth?
Yeah.
Dude, I used to love, whenever I had a loose tooth, I used to love getting it to the point where it was only hanging on by, like, a tendon or two.
Didn't we all?
And then just spinning it around and having it sit in my mouth, twisted around, like, 16 times.
I'm hoping that I start to lose my teeth again at some point. Just
I
to, like,
honestly
recapture that
miss
magic.
losing my teeth.
I could make you lose a couple. I could make you lose a couple.
What, punch me mouth? Punch me mouth? Oh. He's a biter. I like Angela's fit. Like her outfit when she finally does leave.
Track pants.
Yeah, where it's like a teal
Uggs.
jacket,
Yeah.
but like a yellow hoodie with the blue hair. I just think it all matches really well.
It somehow like shouldn't work, but it does.
It kind of reminds me of like Miles Morales' outfit in Into the Spider-Verse.
We're talking about that one.
Yeah. Where it's like his hood with the suit with the like Brooklyn U
Yeah. It's
shirt.
very good layering in both cases.
Yeah. I just think like honestly both of them kind of have like a teal jacket. Maybe that's maybe I need to buy some teal jackets.
Maybe I already have bought you a teal jacket. Check under your seat.
Oh my goodness. Is that a teal jacket?
No, it's not, asshole. It's taupe. Here's some questions.
Okay.
Rate her setup out of 10.
Oh, it's a great setup.
It's a great setup.
It's a great setup. Honestly, I might say 10. That like I was thinking about it. I would never be able to do what she did in her apartment, which is have the desk kind of as an isolated island. I've always thought about that, but like she's got to have great cable management.
And she's also got to have a lot of plugs.
Yeah. But I've always liked the idea of just like having a desk just be.
I hate having desks against walls.
Yeah, but it's just the easiest and most space-friendly thing to do. Like if my desk wasn't against the wall right now, there wouldn't be room for a couch, a TV,
and a couple of boys.
And a couple of boys also.
Starting an empire.
Yeah.
We're going to be the next Barstool Sports.
I hope not.
Do you have a question for me, or
like any questions at all?
like what are you reading? What are you looking at?
I'm just looking at my notes trying to see if there's anything worth
Do you want me to keep going with my questions, or what are we doing here?
Yeah, you could keep going with your questions.
Well, it just seems like you're distracted a little
I'm
bit.
just seeing if there's anything I want to read, Calder. Looking down doesn't mean I'm ready to talk.
This is the most depressing episode we've ever done.
Why?
Because I'm depressed.
Oh, okay.
Amygdala is a tech startup name. Good or bad? Did you hear what I said?
Amygdala
Yeah.
as a startup name?
This guy doesn't listen to me anymore.
It sounds like a Star Wars alien. Like Empress Amygdala.
Oh, no, the amygdala's in the ship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't love
It's not great. It's really not great, but
Yeah.
I don't know. You know, I think Kimi is a name for a home assistant is good.
Yeah, I think Kimi's good.
Amygdala is a name for a company is not great.
No. And I do like how Kimi, when you say Kimi, she goes, I'm here. Like, I like that. Instead of just like a sound or nothing.
Yeah. I was going to say the one for this thing, but I don't want to deal with that. That's a mess.
Yeah.
What did you think about the scene at the very beginning where he's doing his like interview?
I liked that it seemed like he was in an expensive library and then it zooms out and he's just in his garage and there's a bunch of shit piled everywhere. He's just filming it in front of a bookshelf filled with books.
Yeah.
Like there's definitely so many people that do that when they're doing interviews on the news and stuff.
There was like, what was it? It was like an article or something, or like a Twitter thread where it was like 10 ways to make your Zoom setup look good. I'm like, really? We're like, just don't. Why do you care what people's Zoom setups look like?
Yeah.
And it was giving reasons for like why you're a better person if your Zoom setup's better and like shit behind you is better. It's like you're untrustworthy if you're close to a wall. And I was like, what?
Oh, because you're not showing your space.
I don't know, man. My Zoom setup right now is rough.
Dude, I've literally done some video interviews where you can see my lit up action figures behind a glass case behind me.
And have you gotten any of the jobs?
No.
What do you think of the apartment? We kind of touched on this already, but it's a nice apartment.
It's a very nice apartment.
Nice apartment.
I would like to know. It's in Seattle, right?
Yes.
I would like to know how much that apartment costs.
Well, she's also, I think she owns it. too.
Oh yeah.
Right? Because her dad helped her renovate it. I think it was her dad's or something.
Still, I wonder how much that would go for. I'm assuming
Yeah.
she makes pretty decent money with her job.
I'd assume so. It's probably like $600,000 American.
A year?
Hmm?
A year?
No, to buy.
Oh, I thought you meant the job, because I was
No,
talking about being
the
paid with
job's
the job.
probably like
I was like, there's
the job's
no
probably
way.
like 60 or 70,000 a year.
I was like, $600,000 a year for that. I'll take
I'd
that
take
job.
that job. Yes, I would.
I do feel like I would enjoy that job, though.
Until you hear someone getting murdered.
Yeah.
There's a Billie Eilish song in this movie. Have you heard that Billie Eilish song, Oxytocin?
No.
It's not one of the better ones off her album. I asked Hillary to play it for me. It's just fine.
That's fine.
But also,
I kind of like it when movies use lesser known songs from popular artists.
that Billie Eilish album, that new one, kind of hit or miss, to be honest. What
Didn't
did you
listen
think?
to it.
You didn't listen to it?
No.
Well, that's good. That's a good conversation.
Sorry.
One of them was Rate the Going outfit, but we both said that we liked that.
Oh, yeah.
Is there a worse job in tech moderation to you? So let me define this a little more.
Sure.
There was this
Sure.
documentary I saw
Okay.
where it was about the people who were moderating, I think it was Facebook, for images. Like, it's not just obviously programs picking out shit.
Yeah.
It's people in the Philippines and like these guys gotta stop shitting into the mic,
Sorry.
man.
We had greasy garlic bread pizza last night for dinner and today for lunch, so it's just going.
Well, I wonder if it's that or if it's the fact that there's something wrong with you because I'm not shitting my pants.
Dude, do you think it's actually a bad idea to have me farting in the pod?
I think mid-sentence when I'm talking is a little rough.
But I mean, like, do you think anyone will find it so disgusting they'll stop listening? Because I would feel bad if that's the case. But like, I
Leave
think
a
farts
comment
are
down
funny.
below.
So yeah, if you're listening and you think the farts are a little much, genuinely message me and say the farts are a little bit much.
At I'm a Dumb Cook.
At I'm a Dumb Cook on Instagram or on Twitter. Just let me know, and I want genuine honesty because. If it makes you want to stop listening, I don't want to do it anymore. But I personally think farts are funny sometimes. So, but I understand
That's a
those
hot
who find it
take.
gross. What, the farts are funny?
Yeah.
Hey.
So there's people in like the Philippines who have to see all the child porn and like murders and like
Yeah,
dead
I
bodies
think
and
that's
shit.
obviously worse.
Yeah. I was just asking it because it's like you're probably gonna hear some fucked up shit. Like, you're gonna hear people having sex with this job. You're gonna hear people having sex and like you're gonna hear more than one murder or like one thing.
Honestly,
that's
it
bad.
might be a little bit like demoralizing as well because it's only when the Kimi makes a mistake.
So it's probably people being like, "Fuck you, fucking asshole,
Yeah, people
fucking
being
loser,
frustrated.
piece of shit,
Fucking
bitch."
useless piece of shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez, that one sounded like a motor.
I'm so sorry.
That one sounds like a bad car. You're not sorry. You're putting the mic down there. It's not like that's coming all the way up to your mouth.
You'd be able to hear it even if I didn't do it, man. I hope it doesn't peak the microphone when I do that. But yeah, I think there's probably worse jobs in software, but I don't think it's great, probably.
Let me try and decode this question I wrote down.
All right.
What do you think about the world that's built with oppressive tech companies that seemingly have everything? What does that mean?
I would guess what you mean by that is, what do you think of a world where these big tech companies have access to everything and resources where they can just shut this shit down so easily?
I guess, but that's not what I wrote.
No. Absolutely
I must have hit my head.
Question.
Yep.
And you don't have to expose this on the pod.
We'll see.
Put a hand up if you don't want to expose this on the pod. Do you actually have dyslexia?
I think I'm pretty close.
Okay. Because I just know you mentioned yesterday also being like, I can't even read my fucking notes.
You know, things happen. Ooh, do you have a favorite side character?
I do. I think Kevin's my favorite side character. He just seems like a nice guy, and he like doesn't even know her at all.
Yeah.
But he's willing to
Help
risk
thy
his life
neighbor.
to help her out.
I also kind of like Darius. I think he's kind of fun.
He's kind of fun.
He is gonna get canceled though.
He's gonna
that part of the thing where it's like you're gonna get canceled, Darius, in a private Zoom call is like
yeah.
it's a little. If he's gonna get canceled, it's your fault.
Yeah.
Everyone's trying to take down great men these days.
I'm gonna not touch that, and I'm just gonna leave that as it is.
Cut that out.
No.
Okay.
Unless you really want me to.
You're trying to take down a great man.
You?
Yeah.
Who's your would your answer be Darius?
I think like side character I like the most is probably Kevin, but I think Darius is like an interesting character.
Yeah.
Like he's a good for what he does in the movie. He's like that actor does,
and
that
he's
well.
believable that that's a guy.
Yeah, that's a guy in the Eastern Europe that's got this weird tech job.
Yeah.
Do you think there should have been more like Three Stooges style gags in the movie? Like pies in the
like
face
where she's running away from the guys and then she bonks her head on a couple guys moving a pipe.
Or she's trying to fight guys and she pokes them right in the eyes.
Yeah. Nah, I kind of just like her shooting people in the head with a nail gun.
What if it was more like John Wick then?
Like where the whole movie is that kind of combat? No. I
think the movie does a pretty good balance.
Yeah. I do like with the nail gun how she didn't just shoot them all in the head. She like shoots them multiple times so their bodies are just filled with nails. She shoots them like a bunch of times. I guess
that's also a hard one to explain to police, but
yeah, why are there a bunch of nails in this?
It's like, oh, I don't have a gun, but I trespassed into the apartment upstairs and I stole their nail gun.
Yeah. Well, she could show them, and they could probably like get footprints from upstairs or something. And they've got Kevin as a witness who's literally been stabbed, so he's probably pretty
I'm sure
believable.
it's like fine, but that's one where you're like, I gotta like get my story straight.
Yeah.
Kind of like the end of White Lotus.
Well, it does also show the guy being arrested at the end, so like she clearly like gets hold of the FBI and shows the
No, because right when she opens the door for like the boyfriend guy, she's like, Kimi, call the police. That's a bad Zoe Kravitz impression.
Call the police.
Okay,
do a good Zoe Kravitz.
Kimi, call the police.
Wow, even worse.
What about this?
Dude, that was worse than me farting fucking 50 times in this episode. These episodes keep getting more off the rails, man. What is that?
Did you have a physical reaction to the way she put that glass bottle on the counter?
No, because I didn't notice that she put it that way until it
fell?
No, not until it fell. But like I didn't see her put it down that way. Mm-hmm. It wasn't until she walked away and he walked away that I was like, oh, weird that it's just sitting on the counter like that.
Yeah.
It didn't stress me out, but I was like, oh, that's gonna fall.
But I'm impressed by the fact that she like actually was able to do that. You know,
so casually in the scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was impressive.
Do you think they had multiple prop bottles in case she dropped them?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's only a $3 million budget. I don't know if they could afford more bottles.
That's true. Bottles.
What
was something we were just talking about that I came up with a question for? Zoe Kravitz. Oh, are you excited for Zoe Kravitz's next project? A movie called Pussy Island starring Channing Tatum. She's directing it.
Is she in it also?
No. She wrote and directed it.
Oh, sure.
Do you like the name Pussy Island for a movie?
Sure. I don't know.
You think that's going to stay all the way till...
Probably not. They'll probably have to change it for some audiences.
Like Vulva Island?
No. They'll probably just come up with a completely different name.
Clitoris Cliffs?
Because, like, even a movie like Sausage Party, they couldn't have it be like fucking...
Wiener Party.
Hot dog dick sex orgy at the end of the movie party.
Big slutty cock party.
Jeez, man. Yikes.
Do you like Sausage Party?
No. Well, I don't know.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't like it, but I don't think it's bad. I think it is what it is.
I think that means it's one of your faves.
No, not really.
I'm kind of running out of things here for this movie.
I just feel like this is like a very simple
well executed
short movie.
Yeah.
That I think is just like, if you want a new story that feels pretty like fresh and engaging. Because I also really liked how COVID is a prominent part of the story,
but it's not
like
COVID.
The story. Because I feel like a lot of movies that have come out lately and shows that do like a COVID episode, it's like COVID is the thing, and everything revolves around COVID, and it's frequently mentioned. It's like, no, she just offhand mentions it. There's people wearing masks. Like it's
one of the better movies involving COVID. I think Glass Onion does it kind of well as well. There's like I wouldn't know, seen that, but there's a bit of that in there.
I'd like to tell a little story, but only through reenactments real quick. Hey, Calder, you want to go see Glass Onion together? Oh, yeah, sure. Cut forward a month later. Hey, Adam, you still want to go see Glass Onion together? Adam, yes, absolutely. Cut forward a week. Adam, hey, Calder, want to see Glass Onion still? Calder, oh, I already saw it. Any other questions?
I question what brought me to this point in my life. Where you assassinate my character with any chance you get.
Dude, this episode, some may say it's our best, some may say it's our worst.
It's your worst.
You might be right. You did go, you did put your microphone in your mouth for a period.
We do that.
Yeah, we do that. Do you have any more?
Adam Driver.
Oh, yeah. This one's easy for me. I'd like to hear yours first.
I think the villain guy.
The hitman leader?
Yeah.
Yeah, completely.
Like,
I think that he would be a more intimidating, stoic, like...
And better at playing that, like, distressed but trying to intimidate thing.
Yeah. Like, I feel... It's kind of a Kylo Ren thing, too. Like, in the first scene where he takes his mask off in Force Awakens, he's playing that, like, clearly concerned and a little desperate while also still being intimidating and foreboding. And so I think he'd do great at that.
And then where do you think you rank this one?
I don't know. This one's tough. Because I don't think there's a lot wrong with the movie. And I think it's good and I liked it. But it is very simple, I guess. Or
I know what you mean.
I don't know if simple is the right word.
But I think but we've been saying it's well executed the entire time.
I feel like this is a movie that you would completely understand everything if you just saw a storyboard. You know what I mean? Where, like, I feel like there's a very clear vision throughout the whole thing. It doesn't really sway from that.
I think there's some unexpected stuff and it gets an emotional reaction, though.
Yeah.
Which is why I think I put it a little bit above John Wick.
Oh, really? Above John Wick?
Yeah.
I was...
Because John Wick has the kind of weak second half.
I was debating whether it was above the Batman or not at first.
I think it's above the Batman. Because it's like... The Batman's ambitious.
You know what? I'd probably say I like this about on the same level as Turning Red. Maybe I like it a little more. I'd probably be more likely to watch Turning Red on a given day than Kimi.
But like as a movie.
I'd say it's better than Turning Red. Is it better than John Wick?
I think it's better than John Wick. Because it doesn't have the weird... I don't know who the fuck is calling me.
Someone's calling. Do you want to answer it on the pod?
Sure.
I can always cut it out if it's bad.
Hello? Hello? Kimi?
Nice.
All
That's
right.
good.
Let's go.
What was that chime sound?
I think that means the Russians are coming.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that was like the sound of like, and the nuclear missile's been fired.
Yeah. Oh, there it is.
Oh, there it is. That was me.
That was Adam motorboating me.
No, that was me being the explosion. I might have to cut that out or just mute it.
I think it's wetter.
How confident are you that it's better than John Wick?
Fairly.
Are you even considering it being better than West Side Story?
Not really, no.
Okay. So it's basically, is it above or below John Wick? You know what?
Do you feel bad because it's above Turning Red? Or like what's the fucking hold up here?
I mean, I think it's... You know what? I think we can put it above John Wick. I think my trouble was, I think John Wick, we talked about how it's also very tight, but I do think that it does get a bit bogged down in the end.
There's like a second half of the second act that's bogged down.
Yeah.
And this one doesn't really lose the tension and the feeling throughout it.
No, I was about to say, I feel just as invested and like... I feel just as invested like 1 quarter through, 2 quarters through, 3 quarters through.
Mm-hmm.
The only bit that I think is kind of bad is that once it feels like the climax ends and then the movie ends. Where like I feel like most movies you need a bit of
there's no denouement,
like a runway to kind of slow down.
I feel like it probably should have just ended after the FBI, like she opens the door for her boyfriend, calls the FBI.
It should have just ended at the end of the call.
There's like 3 minutes too much.
If you're gonna do a hard end, you need to like do a hard end.
Yeah.
Like they either needed to cut off the last like 2 minutes or add another like 5.
Yeah.
You know
and then
I mean?
I think maybe you put the like guys going to jail in the credits. Like you put the credits over that.
Yeah. That's a good idea.
But that's like the only like thing that
that's true.
Don't really like. And I think the
overall-
movie's just really carried by Zoe Kravitz in this. And I think
who performs better, Zoe Kravitz in this movie or Keanu Reeves
her
in
in
John
this
Wick?
movie, because she's like, you get a much more like emotional. She talks a little better in this movie than he talks in John Wick. Like, she says a lot, she conveys a lot. Like she's like capital A acting kind of.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm surprised. So want to put Kimi at third between West Side Story and John Wick?
I think so.
That's a bit of a surprise to me. I wasn't expecting that, but I agree with that. I think that's good.
Next week will be a fight.
Next week is
Weird. The Al Yankovic
story. I think that's going to be a no pun intended. That's going to be a weird one to rank.
Jeez.
Dude, this episode
and
was a
Adam,
fever dream.
Oh my God, put your pants back on.
They're not off.
Adam.
It's just a hole in my pants from blasting ass all episode.
Would you make love to a woman with no ears?
You asked me if I'd make love to a woman with no nose.
Yeah, it's a sequel.
Can she still hear?
Only out of one side. She can say things behind her
Then
back.
sure. Do I love her?
Not enough.
What does that mean?
Like she doesn't think you love her enough.
This is what I'll say. Having no ears wouldn't really change much for me, is what I'll say. And we're moving on. Okay,
next week is Weird, the Al Yankovic story, and Will you make love to a woman with no eyes?
Nope. Oh, I have to think about that question? Yeah. Oh, great. I will say that's probably the hardest of the three.
Because eyes are the windows to the soul and the love-making material. Adam, thanks for coming over today. This was a good episode of ScreenShare.
You are...
Huh? I'm busy. Thanks for coming over today. This is a good episode of ScreenShare. Thanks for watching Kimi with me, and you're going to make the episode longer.
Well, I was just going to say, more concretely... Next episode is Weird, the Al Yankovic story. You can see that on Crave.
No, you can't.
Or sorry, not on Crave. On
Roku channel.
Roku channel for free.
So 123 Movies.
Or you can go to 123 Movies. Al Yankovic himself has said that he's completely fine with people
Roku channel doesn't
streaming or pirating his movie. So because it's free anyway. So
Bing bong.
We'll be talking about that next week. Daniel Radcliffe.
Nice to see you. Come again.
Hey, buddy. It was good seeing you.
Come back anytime.
Hey, man. It was good seeing you. Thanks for having me in.
People can hear the friendship.
Yeah.
Have a good night, sir.
Have a good night. But hey, man. Love ya.
Don't let the door hit your stupid fucking face on the way out.